Miller Park, the homestand continues for the Milwaukee Brewers, and there's been a lot of excitement, especially lately here at Miller Park. How about Sunday? Martin Maldonado with 3 hits, including this walk-off in the 11th inning to beat the Cubs. And then last night, after the White Sox rallied to tie, Elian Herrera with his 2nd home run in as many games, and then Chris Davis launched one right onto the landing pad. Heads up, Bernie Brewer. A lot of excitement and good endings for the Brewers here in the last couple of ball games. Good evening. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minard is our reporter tonight. And there's so much to talk about right now, Rock, that's good with this team. Maldonado, Herrera. But how about Carlos Gomez last night in the cleanup spot? We saw power, we saw speed, defense, the total package.
Yeah, since he's come off the disabled list, the Brewers are 7-3. And when he's in the lineup, the Brewers are 6-1. He means so much to this offense. Not just what he does with his glove and his legs, but the Brewers have always wanted him in a cleanup spot, more of an area where he can drive in some runs. The trick was to find somebody that can lead off. Well, Parr led off yesterday. It's going to be Segura today. And he can beat you in so many different ways, as we talked about. Maybe say a hanging slider from Jeff Samardzija, giving the Brewers a 2-0 lead very early in last night's ball game, and then he triples down the line, and he does one of those little league plays. Keep running until they throw you out. Problem is for the White Sox, they weren't able to throw him out. It was a 3-bagger and then errant throw, and he's able to beat the play at home plate. And just to make matters worse for the White Sox, Carlos Gomez on the defensive end. Look at this play. The legs. He's able to make the catch going away. That might have been a game saver for the Brewers in last night's ball game. Good to have Gogo back.
That's why he is our T-Mobile game changers. Tonight's starter for the White Sox, the left-hander Chris Sale. We'll hear more about him as we continue here at Miller Park. Greg Bouchard, Jerry Augustine will tell us about the left-hander for the White Sox on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Brewers and the White Sox ready to battle. Our pitching matchup, Chris Sale, the lefty, Mike Fiers, the righty on the hill. Two pitchers looking to turn their seasons around beginning as soon as tonight. Craig and Augie back on board with you. We're going to take a closer look at Chris Sale of the White Sox. Now, this is a guy who's struggling right now. His last two starts, he's given up 13 earned runs. But we know he's much better than that.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you talk about his pitches, he's got 4 quality pitches with a fastball that can get up into the upper 90s. He's got a low 3/4 delivery that comes after you. It's deceptive, and he's got great control. But if you can imagine two of the best pitchers in all of baseball, Clayton Kershaw from the left side, very true with a hitches delivery. You take on Chris Sale. Here you're looking at a 6'6", 180-pound guy who's coming at you. It looks like a pterodactyl coming at you from all angles, but he's got great stuff. A good pitcher, one of the best in all of baseball.
That's what makes him intimidating indeed. Sale and Fiers, we're ready for baseball. Are we going to see more heroics? We had the walk-off Sunday and then back-to-back home runs late in the game yesterday. All Brewers wins. Can they get another one?
Hitters in his last 2 outings, looking to get it all together tonight as we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game series here at Miller Park. Brewers baseball at Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. A little chilly, windy day today, so we have the roof closed. Nice and comfortable here inside Miller Park for the Brewers and the White Sox. Thriller last night. Robin Ventura, his team is still trying to figure out a road formula. They are 2-12 away from U.S. Cellular. Brewers trying to make that 2-13 here tonight, as they are trying to get that consistent play back in order. Here is the White Sox batting order presented by Potawatomi. Adam Eaton had 4 hits last night. He is at the top of the order. Melky Cabrera, Jose Abreu. Avi Garcia hits cleanup. Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Tyler Flowers behind the plate. The rookie Micah Johnson is at second. Chris Sale rounds out the batting order against Mike Fiers.
Yeah, making start number 7. Big earned run average, about 5.5 last time out. A loss to the Dodgers here at Miller Park. It was a 14-4 final. Fiers able to get only 5 innings, give up 5 runs. He's faced the Chicago White Sox once in his career. That was way back in 2012. He pitched well. No decision, 7 1/3 innings, did not allow a run.
Yeah, terrific pitchers duel. He was opposed by Jose Quintana, who will be tomorrow night's starter for the White Sox as we are set to go. Adam Eaton coming off a 4-hit night. including his first 2 RBIs of the season. White Sox battled back from a 6-0 deficit to tie, but the Brewers, to their credit, had a strong answer in the bottom of the 8th inning. Elian Herrera and Chris Davis going deep. Francisco Rodriguez came on in the 9th to close things out. Herrera again gets the start over at third.
And once again, Noah Ramos Ramirez. So it's been quite a long time since he's been in the lineup. But the way he's swinging the bat, you got to keep him in there anyway.
5th straight start over there at third for Herrera, and he has been producing home runs, and in very important home runs at that. And a strike to Adam Eaton. It's in Mike Fiers' 20 strikeouts in the last 2 outings for him, including 12 at Wrigley Field. I'm just trying to pull it all together in this matchup against the White Sox. And 2-2 the count.
Fiers needs to have better command of his off-speed stuff. That's been a problem for him so far this year. The curveball and the changeup. When he's able to throw those 2 pitches over for strikes, that fastball up is much more effective.
And a punch out to begin the night for Mike Fiers.
Well, let's check out the Menards Brewers defense tonight. All right-handed batters in the lineup for Craig Counsell. It's Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Herrera, yet another start, swinging a hot bat. Segura back at short. Hector Gomez at second. Jason Rogers gets another start at first base. His 3rd start at first base this year. And Maldonado once again behind home plate.
And you see these guys have come in and helped the ball club. Guys who you wouldn't think would be starters, but they are, and especially, as Rock said tonight, against the left-hander Chris Sale. And when they have played well. Here's Melky Cabrera. He was hitless last night. 254 batting average for Cabrera going into tonight's game. And Cabrera in his first year with the White Sox, the last couple with the Toronto Blue Jays. And had a 300, or actually a 301 average with the Jays last year. And a comebacker fires right there for it. Quickly 2 men out in the first.
And Mike Fiers puts himself in very good position to field. He's got those shoulders squared up and able to handle that one easily. Fiers just needs to keep the ball in the ballpark. He's given up 6 home runs. That's been a issue for the entire starting rotation, although much better lately.
Yeah, the encouraging news, it's the Brewers, the team that's hitting the home runs after the slow start in that area. And wanting to keep preventing the other guys from doing the same thing. Here's Jose Abreu, who, if you follow this sport at all, you know he is capable. He has 6 home runs this year and the Rookie of the Year last season in the American League. 36 home runs. With most of those, actually 25 of them, coming by the end of June. Fires with a strikeout of Adam Eaton and a comebacker off the bat of Melky Cabrera as we are just getting underway the second game of this 3-game series. Brewers trying to make it 4 straight wins, and that would be the longest streak for this club since last August.
And playing much better across the board. I mean, everything seems to be better for the Brewers. They kicked it around a little bit in yesterday's ball game, but for the most part the defense has been a lot better. Starting to swing the bats. The starting rotation is starting to get things right.
Brewers come in having won 8 of their last 12. Fires with the 1-2 to Abreu. Just a touch high.
Well, and that's the strikeout pitch for Fiers, that high fastball when he's heading the count, but that one's but a little bit too far up.
12 strikeouts he had against the Cubs. He has just rung up that club, especially at Wrigley Field last couple of outings, putting up strikeout numbers that draws comparisons to Sandy Koufax. Those are the 2 pitchers who have had success in back-to-back outings in terms of the strikeouts. Now just trying to extend that overall performance. 6 innings, all he needed to get those 12 punch outs of the Cubbies, but the Dodgers got to him last week. That's Thursday in his last outing. But the Dodgers were electric throughout that Thursday afternoon game en route to a 14-4 victory. You heard Sophia Minard mention in Brewers Live pregame, this is a young man who last year in 10 starts gave his team 8 quality starts. So looking to bring that back. Craig Counsell before the game saying that Fiers is right on the edge, he believes, to getting back to form. Full count now to Jose Abreu. Carrying an 8-game hitting streak into this contest. Had 3 hits last night, drove in a couple of runs.
Man, one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball when he gets going.
The 3-2.
And a cut fastball by Fiers. That's a pitch that he's been able to use effectively. That four-seamer that he uses high in the strike zone. The cutter, big curveball and changeup. Would like to be a little bit more efficient with the curveball. It's been somewhat erratic for him so far this year.
Fiers once again with the payoff. And there's a drive hit back into left field, but actually lots of room for Chris Davis. Hangs up in the air. Routine fly ball and a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Fiers. And for the Brewers offense to get going. Top half of the first, and now the Brewers ready to take their first cuts here tonight against the White Sox. Chris Sales, as we take a look at the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Gene Segura, Chris Davis, Ryan Braun at the top. Carlos Gomez again hits cleanup, followed by Jason Rogers, Elian Herrera. Martin Maldonado hits 7th. Hector Gomez 8th. Mike Fiers rounds out the order against the lanky left-hander for Chicago, Chris Sale. 6'6", 180 pounds.
Well, can be a dominant left-hander. Sale came up in 2010. His first 2 years he worked out of the bullpen. The 4th year as a starter, a 46-30 career record, not too shabby. The best year for him was back in 2012. He was 17-8.
All-Star each of the last 3 years, and in the mix in the Cy Young voting as well. Last year he finished 3rd behind Corey Kluber and Felix Hernandez. 2 years ago finished 5th, and 3 years ago 6th. So he's always been in that mix, or at least the last 3 years. 1-2 to Segura.
As good as he's been throughout his career, he's struggled in his last 2 starts. Given him 13 earned runs in his last 8 1/3 innings.
Yeah, both of those were rematch starts against the Twins and Tigers. Pitched well and in White Sox wins in those first 2, and then next time around he got knocked around. His year got off to a slow start. Accident at home, he broke his foot. So his first start of the year. You figure a guy like him, he'd go opening day or at worst game 2 behind Jeff Samardzija, but April 12th is his first appearance as Segura shoots one to the gap, and Eaton cannot get it. Segura on his way to second. He's going to keep running. He'll get to third, and that's how the bottom of the first begins for the Crew.
And Segura able to drive one just out of the reach of Adam Eaton. I thought he might be able to get to it, but it kept slicing further and further away from Eaton as it got out there. And you hope Segura's going to be all right. Maybe he just knocked the wind out of himself. There's that Chris Sale fastball, middle in, and Segura slices it just out of the reach of Adam Eaton, who covers an awful lot of ground. Missed that one by a couple of feet. And Gene able to get all the way around to third base. Kind of stumbled before he took that dive into third.
Appears to be okay. Still checking himself out a little bit as Chris Davis steps in. A pinch hit appearance last night, and he launched one in the bottom of the 8th inning. As the Brewers went deep twice off their former teammate Zach Duke. Leon Herrera, a 2-run shot, and then Davis with the solo homer.
Hey, Craig Counsell going with some power in the number 2 spot the last 2 days. Braun yesterday and Chris Davis tonight. He's not afraid to mix it up, is Craig Counsell, trying to find something to get this offense going on a consistent basis.
Brewers hanging 10 on the board last night after the game. In his post-game session with reporters, he was asked, well, this lineup seems to be working. You're going to go with it? And he said, no, I assure you it will be different tomorrow.
Yeah, with Chris Sale on the mound, you don't want to have too many lefties in there. Although lefties have struggled or have done well against Sale so far this year.
Which is certainly a departure from the career numbers that he has had. But it has been a choppy start. Those last 2 outings against the Twins and the Tigers, that is what has that ERA at close to 6.
Yeah, look at it. Lefties this year.
Yeah.
Of course, when you talk about lefties against Sale, only the premier left-handed hitters are going to be in the lineup for sure against this guy.
2-2 to Davis. Holds up. It's Mark Ripperger, the first base umpire tonight. Well, the Brewers, another area that has been golden for them of late, is hitting with runners in scoring position. Been a nice theme for this team the last couple of weeks as Davis goes down swinging. There's out number 1.
Well, the White Sox have not done very well defensively so far this year, near the bottom of the league in the American League in team defense. Your Menard's defense, Cabrera, Eaton, and Garcia. Great throwing arms in that outfield. Gillespie, Ramirez, Johnson, and Abreu from third to first, and the only change from last night is Tyler Flowers behind home plate.
1 out with Segura at third, and here's Ryan Braun. He has hits in each of his last 6 games, 8 for 19 in that span. And he swings and does not get the first offering from Sale.
Yeah, one of the issues that Sale's had lately, last 2 starts, inconsistency with the breaking pitch. He's got a pretty good bender, a slider, throw a changeup. Not afraid to come inside. He'll go anywhere from low 90s to mid 90s with the fastball, but not a lot of movement with the heater.
There's the heater at 95. He was 12-4 last year with Sale, but missed about a month of the season. A little arm issue, but had a terrific year with a 2.17 earned run average. And that should ended up third in the Cy Young voting. Remember, this was a team that won just 73 games last year. There's a bouncing ball. It's going to get a run home. Abreu will feed Sale for the out, but Segura's in, and the Brewers grab the early lead.
Yep, infield back, and Ryan able to get the job done with the ground ball. High fives all around in that Brewers dugout. There's been a lot more of those as of late. Guys starting to play much better baseball. Got a long way to go to get back, though.
8 wins in their last 12 has them feeling a little bit better about things. Encouraged, I think, would be maybe the right word. They can get things turned around. And there's Carlos Gomez. Hit cleanup last night and homered his first trip to the plate. He was full of excitement for the Crew last night. First pitch swinging. There's a ground ball to third, and Gillespie is not able to make the play. Gomez is on.
And there they go again, kicking the baseball around. That was a problem for him last night. Pretty routine ground ball, but Gillespie, knowing that Gomez is going to be busting it down that line, felt as though he needed to be a little bit quicker. Dropped it, and that's all it takes.
And an error charge. Error charge to Connor Gillespie. The White Sox have the second lowest fielding percentage in the American League. Only the A's struggle more in that area, and they struggle by a lot. The White Sox, that's their 25th error. The A's have kicked it 34 times.
Yeah, Brewers had a couple of unearned runs last night.
Here's Jason Rogers getting a start at first tonight, and the runner going, and the throw over to first, and now down to second, and that is not handled by Micah Johnson. So they had Gomez hung up, and again the White Sox just having trouble catching the ball. Gomez gets second.
Well, let's see if that's going to be a stolen base or an error. That was just a clank on the throw. Well, you take off, you have speed like Gomez, just keep going, and hopefully good things happen. He just flat missed that baseball, and it will be a stolen base. Clanked it. He saw the freight train coming to second, and little timid hanging in there.
Yeah, gets you thinking just a little bit. Gets you looking off your glove. So the White Sox, that error a moment ago on Gillespie, they've committed 12 now in a 9-game stretch, at 4 in a game against the Twins a little over a week ago. And Rogers, as we have talked about, the at-bats have been limited, but the percentage of at-bats with really good contact has been high.
And the White Sox have already allowed 15 unearned runs. That's a lot for this point in the season.
As you mentioned, Jeff Samardzija did not get a lot of help in that area last night. Brewers able to capitalize as Rogers a swing and a miss. Sale last year struck out nearly 11 per 9 innings. Led the American League. I really believe they have the makings of at least a good 1-2 punch, if not 1-2-3. Jose Quintana will pitch tomorrow night, but Samardzija and Sale not off to the starts that they had envisioned.
Yeah, and the first 3 starts for Sale were pretty good. I mean, he looked pretty good. Then kind of the bottom fell out for him last couple of times out.
2-2 the count to Rogers. And this is popped up. Abreu, Micah Johnson now will take control. Makes the catch, and that's it for the Brewers, but they get an early run. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Back at Miller Park, the Brewers with a 1-0 lead. And for Mike Fiers, just one of his first 6 starts have been quality starts. But manager Craig Counsell says Fiers is much closer to breaking out than maybe the numbers indicate. The walks have been up for Fiers uncharacteristically, including a career-high 5 in his last start Thursday against the Dodgers. He has 14 on the season, but has the 42 strikeouts. And he says the walks have never really been a part of who he is. So he says he doesn't really have a problem with that. He says the strikeouts are a much better indication of the success he's having. He says it's really hard to get big league hitters to swing and miss. So he says the strikeouts are a sign of how tough those at-bats are. He's putting pressure on the hitters. So he says that's probably the biggest indication that Fiers is much closer to breaking out to the pitcher that he was last year.
And again, I think that the strikeout totals have been pretty impressive for Fiers, given that his curveball hasn't been real consistent this year. You can imagine what he's going to be able to do when he starts throwing that pitch for strikes early in the count.
Avisail Garcia starts the second inning here for the White Sox. Yeah, that last outing for Fiers, he pitched 5 innings and gave up 5 runs, but struck out 8 against the Dodgers, and he had the immaculate inning in that game where he struck out the side on 9 pitches. Not something that happens all that often in the big leagues, about 79 times, I believe. And there's a punch out of Avi Garcia to start the second. That's the second strikeout for Fiers early on.
There's something about that delivery. We talk about it all the time when Fiers is out there, particularly with guys that have never seen him before. He just can't pick up the baseball all that well. He hides it well. He holds that baseball behind his back, comes flying out of there and up in the strike zone. Only 2 batters in the White Sox lineup have ever faced him before: Melky Cabrera and Alexi Ramirez.
And that's a combined total of 6 times going into this game, 3 for each. And here's Connor Gillespie, had a couple of hits, scored a couple of runs last night. I mentioned that one outing he had. Of course, these teams haven't met for 3 years, but Fiers back in June of 2012. 7 1/3 innings of 5-hit shutout baseball. He was matched up with Jose Quintana in what was a terrific pitcher's duel that went 10 innings. Quintana will go tomorrow for the White Sox. Jimmy Nelson will get the call for the Brewers.
Yeah, kind of a contrast in styles tomorrow. Jimmy Nelson with the power fastball. Quintana left-handed with a terrific changeup. Really good changeup. Well, you see the way Fiers turns his back a little bit, and then watch the way he drops that baseball behind that back, hides it. All of a sudden, here comes a baseball, and the hitter takes him a while to get adjusted to that. Yeah, the more you see it, the more better chance you have of picking it up. But early on, Fiers has a big advantage.
That's a lot going on that first time you face him. Maybe the first couple of times. Try to get him timed, and not an easy thing to do. And hopefully, for the Brewers' sake, it will not be easy for the White Sox tonight. White Sox come in 12-17. They're 6.5 games back in the AL Central. The Kansas City Royals lead the division by a game over Detroit. It's been all about the road woes for the White Sox. 2-12 away from home. Back into center field. Back goes Carlos Gomez. He'll go up and get it at the warning track.
Yeah, piece of cake for Gomez. Playing a little bit deeper these days and making that catch look easy. Gillespie put a charge into that fastball. Hit that one well, but Gomez able to track it down. Take him out playing deep. Gets a good jump. Goes right back and knows exactly where he is on that warning track. Never does have to look back.
Well, Gomez had a game-saving catch, you could say, last night in the 8th inning when the White Sox scored a couple of runs to tie. Melky Cabrera sent Gomez back and reached up and snagged it, and that kept the game tied and allowed the Brewers to pull ahead in the bottom of the inning. There's Alexi Ramirez, veteran shortstop, Swinging and missing at a Fiers curve.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Fiers. He's throwing a couple of changeups tonight. There's a good curveball that time.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ramirez. Checks in, hitting .238. Driven in 14. 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air, center field. Routine for Gomez. And Mike Fiers sets him down in order for the second straight time. 1-0 Milwaukee here in the second. Brewers lead the White Sox as Elian Herrera. Take a look at the Powerball home run count. He has 4 career homers. 2 of them have come in the last couple of ball games. They've been big. Sunday against the Cubs. Monday against the White Sox.
Yeah, I thought it was the pink shoes on Sunday, but it wasn't. It was Herrera. Does it again last night.
Mentioned the 4 big league home runs in his career. 3 this year, including the 2 in the last 2 ball games. He gets the start at third for the 5th consecutive game.
And that's the other side of what Herrera's done. I mean, he's been doing a tremendous job over at third base. He's had some tough plays.
He has some sharply hit balls coming his way over there at third. The reason they call it the hot corner, and he has held up well. And here's a fly ball hit back into right field, and that will be Avi Garcia out number 1.
We're not going to see too many opposite field home runs from Elian Herrera, but hit that one pretty well to right. It's an all right-handed hitting lineup for Craig Counsell tonight. So late in the game, matchups, Brewers have some options on that bench.
And the Brewers will be seeing back-to-back lefties. Quintana tomorrow night. Here's Martin Maldonado. We talked about that in that stretch of games against the Central Division. You're not going to see a lot of left-handed pitching. But as they cross over into the American League portion of their schedule, they'll see him on consecutive nights. Maldonado down 0-2. Sale a 2-1 record coming into this matchup here tonight. Definitely on that short list of being among the best in the American League, among the best in baseball. Maldonado is down on strikes.
Hey, Star Wars night is coming to Miller Park on Saturday, May 30th, courtesy of Kohl's. The force will be strong at Miller Park that night as a number of Star Wars characters will be in attendance. Plus, There'll be a photo opportunity, special in-game features, and more. For tickets, visit Brewers.com today.
2 men out, bases empty. Hector Gomez. Getting his 10th start at second base. He was at short last night. One of those young players, and I know Rocky, you've talked about it. Craig Counsell is very high on Hector Gomez, and just watch him with that arm strength alone that will get your attention. But someone who gets himself ready. It's a tough role, but he gets himself ready.
Play anywhere in that infield. You can probably throw him in the outfield, and his arm's going to be right up there with the best.
And a breaking ball swung on and missed. They'll complete the strikeout, and Chris Sale puts the Brewers down 1-2-3. Through 2, 1-0 Brewers. Sox 1-0, middle game of this series here in Milwaukee. Welcome into the booth alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Matt LePay, and again, happy to be joined by General Manager Doug Melvin. And Doug, we have some fun things to talk about here with what's been going on in the last 12 games, but in the last week, 8 days with Craig Counsell. As you have watched him, I mean, you named him for a reason. Has he handled all of this every bit as well, and maybe even better than you expected?
Yeah, I think the club's energy's picked up, and I think Craig really feels he's energized too to go out there and have the team perform and play better, and I think he's prepared for it. I do believe that being in the front office for the 2.5 years, there's a lot of things that I believe that he's picked up there that's going to help him down in the dugout. But I think he's happy to put the uniform on. I was worried that I was maybe boring him with work in the front office, and he wanted to escape the office, but he's down in the dugout in the clubhouse, and he looks very comfortable.
He's not a shirt and tie guy, really?
No, not really. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, he worked very hard at it. He came in every morning. It wasn't the former player that shows up on a few home games and puts in a few hours. He was there every morning early, and he went out to see amateur players. He sat in our draft meetings. He was in on all of our player development meetings. He went to see our minor league players, build a relationship with minor league managers, coaches, players. But he sees the issues that we go through and have to handle at the front office level, and it's so important that we work and communicate together. We've always done that with our managers here. Ron was very good at it too, but his experience in the front office, I think, is going to help him. But most importantly, his 16 years as a player and playing on championship clubs and clubs that have been in pennant races is going to be a big factor in him managing.
Obviously pleased by the way the guys are starting to play much better, all aspects of the game. But I guess the one thing that really sticks out, the fact that everybody seems to be contributing to this ball club. Guys at the bottom of the order, Herrera's been very good. Gomez has provided some offense, some good defense. Craig Counsell not afraid to mix it up down there.
No, and he's he's put everybody out there, gives them a chance to play. I was talking to a writer today that was doing a story, and I said, I remember with Earl Weaver back in the Orioles days, Earl Weaver said if they're on the roster, I got to play them. He said they're going to contribute somehow, some way. It's my job to find out what their abilities are and what they can do to put them in a situation to have success. And that was sort of Earl Weaver's managing style, is just if they're on the roster, they're going to play. They're wearing a big league uniform. They're in a big league ballpark. So that means they're a big league player. And I think sometimes we always have a tendency to maybe look at what a player can't do first. And I think we sometimes have to make sure we got to look at what the player can do, and let's work on the things that maybe he's a little short on ability and how we can work with that.
Micah Johnson at the plate and a full count to him. You always hear about versatility, Doug, in sports, no matter what sport you're talking about. But in baseball, Elian Herrera seems to be the model of it. It's easy to talk about it now because he's had 2 big homers in the last couple of games. But if you were to talk to high school age players or younger, is that still the top of the list? Be versatile, know as many positions as you possibly can, giving you the best chance to play here at this level?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at players that came up at there's some people say, draft a shortstop, keep drafting shortstops because they'll end up playing, they'll play somewhere else. And there's a lot to that. Elian was a catcher. He was signed as a catcher, and we haven't seen him doing that yet. And but he's able to play all those positions. So important in the National League. But I just think it's important for young athletes to play not just different positions in baseball, but I think it's important they play all different sports. I think we've gotten away the young athlete playing one sport. And I always felt playing basketball helped me be a better hockey player, or playing hockey helped me become a better baseball player. And sometimes it gives you a mental break from that one sport. I think there's a tendency we just bear down and specialize in that one sport, and you can get burned out if you do, because baseball, the success rate's not real high for a lot of things you do.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. All right, Doug, we thank you so much. A strikeout there to end the inning. We thank you so much. Great points. We agree with you. Versatility, time management, and all that good stuff.
Great.
So
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Doug. Thank you, man.
1-0 as we continue here at Miller Park. White Sox, bottom of the 3rd inning. It's our CarSoup.com trivia question. Who are the only current managers in the big leagues to be drafted and play for the clubs they now manage? A good one here tonight. Again. Our CarSoup.com trivia question. Did you come up with that, Rob?
No, you're not going to go back to...
no, I'm not. That's why I'm asking you. No,
that little thing you went off on yesterday?
Whatever that was, I have conveniently forgotten.
Brian Michelozzi, the guy that comes up with those questions. You went a little overboard, but hey, I get it.
was my nice quotient for the rest of the fill-in stint.
That was awesome. No, he came up and thanked you today anyway. At least
he did. Kind of blew right by you, but
yeah,
I appreciated it. There's Mike Fiers with a tapper. Back to Sale. Out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Appreciate Doug Melvin stopping by another quick inning.
About 8-pitch inning, something like that. But I was going to ask him about Lucroy, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Luke today in the clubhouse while the Brewers are on the field taking batting practice. He says he's feeling pretty good. He's not ready to come back. It's going to be maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But he was experimenting with a baseball shoe today with a hard toe cover. And he's going to see if that's going to help him at all. So Luke's on his way back, but it's going to be still a while.
In the meantime, Martin Maldonado getting the bulk of the work as Gene Segura lifts a fly ball back into left field. Lots of room for Cabrera. 2 outs.
So since Doug wasn't around to answer the question, I'll answer it myself. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Talking about Lucroy.
There you go.
He is very anxious to get back in there. Got off to a slow start this year, the broken toe, and he says it's been very difficult sitting back watching.
Yeah, he doesn't strike you as somebody who just wants to be a spectator, to be out there in the mix. Maldonado doing a nice job behind the plate.
Well, you certainly miss Lucroy, the bat and the leadership qualities that he brings to the field. But you're right, Maldy's been doing a bang-up job behind home plate, getting some big hits.
Well, Chris Davis having himself a nice homestand. He struck out here his first at bat tonight, but he's 9 for 22 in this homestand. Had the terrific series against the Cubs. And he'll lift a fly ball into right field. Routine for Garcia. And it's a quick inning again here for the Brewers. We are through 3. It is 1-0 Milwaukee.
Nothing lead, and it's the last night of the BCF Ultimate Auction. It's BCF week here at Miller Park, so the bidding ends tonight at 11:59. There are 14 great exclusive Brewers experiences that you can bid on. Let's take a look at 5 of the ones that you can bid on. There's the photo package, the swing with Darnell Coles, K's with pitching coach Rick Kranitz, the owner's experience to sit in Debbie and Mark Adanasio seats, and of course grabbing grub with Brian and Bill. So we want to get these numbers off. BCF supports so many organizations, almost 200 here in the local Milwaukee community. So tonight is your last chance to bid on these exclusive Brewers experiences, and you can go to brewers.com/BCF week. And again, you have it until 11:59 tonight.
Pretty good jump there, and still work to do with grub with Brian and Bill, or Bill and Brian.
Where are we at?
I think that was 1,600 more.
Very
Did
nice.
I see that right? Yeah, there you go. 1625. But moving up.
That's good. Anything else we can add?
Anything else we can promise? Make a promise for BA?
Yeah.
A ground ball to Hector Gomez. Eaton is retired to begin the fourth. Some of the items there, among many.
Yep, a visit to the production truck with the grab some grub with Brian and Bill. And Matt and Sophia. And the rest of the group. Come on into the booth during the game for an inning. Check out our dog and pony show up here.
And then go into the truck and watch those who work, right? A lot of great items.
Yep.
Melky Cabrera. The comebacker in the first. Fiers doing a good job of getting ahead here. This is the 11th hitter he's faced. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 8 of them.
Yeah, Willie Peralta faced the minimum through 3 innings last night against the White Sox, but he's kind of we're a little bit better for the White Sox second time through. We'll see what happens here tonight with Fiers on the mound. Again, these guys haven't seen much of them.
The White Sox team, as you mentioned, off to a very slow start offensively, but it's been heating up here the last week and a half or so, hitting .293 as a team over the last 9 games. As Cabrera shoots one foul over the White Sox dugout. And the White Sox not quite as sharp a turn as the Brewers have been in the power numbers, but they had a 9-game homerless stretch. They've hit 12. They hit 12, but it was all they got in their first 23, and they've hit 8 in their last 9. But the Brewers they've turned it around completely, gone from the bottom of the list to what they've done lately. Yeah,
they're 4th in the National League in homers all of a sudden. That happened quickly.
They have been launching. 2-2 pitch. Brock mentioned this is the kind of start that Peralta had last night, but this is also the Fiers that the Brewers saw a lot more of last year, the way he has gone through the first 3+ here. How effective he was as a starter.
Hitters just can't seem to dial in on that fastball a lot of the times. I mean, there's a perfect example of that last pitch to Cabrera. I mean, it was a fastball, had a lot of the plate. All he could do was fight it off the other way. Just don't seem to be able to get the bat head out on him.
And there's a ground ball to Segura. And there are 2 men out. Tonight, Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NHL NBA playoff action, plus highlights on tonight's Major League Baseball games. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1 or see it simulcast right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Two men out here in the fourth for the White Sox. There's Jose Abreu.
Yeah, just missed one his last time up. A cut fastball down the middle. Off the end, flew out the left.
Abreu left a few on last night, but also had a 2-run single in the 7th inning as part of a 3-run inning for the White Sox as they were just chipping away. The Brewers jumped to a 6-0 lead, led 7-2, and then the White Sox put a couple on the board in the 5th, 3 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and all of a sudden the game was tied. And then the Brewers got out the big bats in the bottom of the 8th. 2-strike pitch to Abreu. Fiers has struck out 4 so far tonight. You have to think about Abreu, those power numbers that he had, a lot of that coming in the months of April, May, and June, but he still hit for a good average. In fact, the average went up. The power numbers were sliding back a little bit, but we're still talking about a guy who hit better than 300 a year ago.
He spent 10 years in the Cuban leagues, monster numbers for him. Second year in the big leagues.
The 0-2. Breaking ball. That's going to be a long throw for Herrera, and it gets away from Jason Rogers. A wide throw, and Abreu will get second. Goes out of play.
Yeah, probably going to be a hit and an error, I would think. That would have been a tough play for Herrera. Right down the line. Looked like a breaking ball. He had a long way to go. Look how far back behind the bag he is. Ends up throwing it in foul territory. That might be an error. I mean, they had Abreu easily if that ball's on the mark. And they will give Herrera an error.
Rogers over at first, unable to come up with the wide throw. So the White Sox are the runner in scoring position for Javi Garcia. 0 for last night. Take a look at that average. He hasn't had many of those. In fact, he leads the team in multi-hit games with 11. It's the first base runner of the night for the White Sox. As Abreu reached in the air, he's at second. And the 2-0. Sharply hit. Another tough chance for Herrera. Knocks it down. There will be no play. Abreu to third. And man, a couple of tough chances in consecutive at bats.
Yeah, the first one a lot easier for Herrera than that last one. That was a one hop bullet on right off the glove. He did a nice job knocking it down, if anything. Had to save a run. A cut fastball that stayed in the middle part of the plate. And watch the hop. Right off the heel of the glove. He keeps it close, and be another base hit. Herrera able to save a run by keeping it close.
That's the first hit of the night for the White Sox. Abreu reached on an error. Garcia an infield single, and here's Connor Gillespie. He sent Gomez to the warning track in the second inning. He's homered once this season. Had a couple of hits last night. So Fire's in some trouble for the first time. Runners at the corners with 2 men out. And a curve misses. Mentioned the White Sox team average over the last 9 games at .292. They've really been slugging it the last 3 games. Couple 3 games, including the 7 runs they had last night on 14 hits. But the Brewers outscored them 10-7. This has popped up. Herrera in foul territory, has room, and fires, and the Brewers out of trouble as the White Sox lead a couple here in the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th, Brewers lead 1-0.
1-0 lead, and make sure you're at Miller Park this Memorial Day as the Brewers take on Buster Posey and the world champion San Francisco Giants. That's Monday, May 25th at 1 o'clock. The Brewers are going to wear special camo uniforms honoring past and present military personnel. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
Giants playing better. They've hit the 500 mark. Taking on the Astros tonight. Ryan Braun leads off the bottom of the fourth. He's responsible for the only run of the game so far. A ground ball that scored Gene Segura. Mentioned Sale last year was third in the Cy Young voting behind Felix Hernandez, who was the runner-up, and Corey Kluber, who won it. What a difference a year makes. Kluber with the Indians is off to an 0-5 start. And in 2 no decisions, the Indians have lost those games. They have lost all 7 times that last year's Cy Young winner has started. It's amazing.
That's the way it goes, right? I mean, it's awfully difficult to go back to back. That's when you have guys like Kershaw and Greinke, guys that could just continue to win year after year. Those guys are few and far between.
That job of being consistent, and Sale certainly has been in his young career. He is all of 26 years old. First round pick in the 2010 drafts. Played collegiately at Florida Gulf Coast University. That's in Fort Myers, Florida. And a bouncer, a backhand stab by Sale, little no look, and he's able to finish it for the out. Wow.
He's saying I practiced that in spring training. When I was at spring training, he barely had a spring. There you go. Look in your other hand. You got a television set. And able to make the play.
Play worth another look, courtesy of Columbia St. Mary's.
Well, started with a pretty good pitch down and away, and that's about all Braun can do with that pitch.
Here's Carlos Gomez. Look at that big old cut. Mentioned always entertaining to watch, and that was the case again in BP today.
Well, we talked about it on the open. Since he's come off the disabled list, Brewers are 7-3. Remember, he missed 3 games with that hip injury. Games he started, they're 7-1. Not too bad. Is it 6-1?
6-1. He's showing everything, though, as we have talked about. The power. He homered last night. His ability to run, and now he's going to lay one down, and the cleanup hitter is going to reach via the bunt. That's what he can do.
Yeah, it's all right when you bunt, your cleanup hitter bunts, when he can do that and then steal second base.
That's exactly right.
You'd like to have your cleanup hitter, your run producers try to drive the ball to get into scoring position, but a little bit different with Gomez. I mean, that's about as perfect a bunt as you can drop down. Good chance that might turn into a double with a stolen base here. Makes so many things happen out there on the field in so many different ways.
We saw that speed, which led to aggressiveness last night when he tripled and then came all the way around to score on a poor throw from the right fielder, Avi Garcia. And remember, Gomez last year, the only player in the big leagues with 20 bombs and 30 steals. 20 plus and 30 plus.
You see that ball he hit in BP today?
To the upper deck, we're looking at each other.
Over
really?
the stadium clubs, the glass in the third deck up there. I've been here a long time. I don't think I've ever seen one up there. I think McGuire might have hit a couple in BP up there. We're talking up here, folks. That's where he hit one in batting practice today.
That's why I was looking at you and Darnell Cole saying, huh? Did we really see that?
Yeah.
It got everyone's attention. It was around the cage, that's for sure. Gomez bluffs a steal attempt. Tyler Flowers working behind the plate tonight for the White Sox. He has thrown out 6 of 20. We've tried to run on him. Always the extra challenge with a left-hander on the mound.
He gets a big lead. Sometimes you go in first move, and a lot of times those two throws aren't going to be perfect, and with his speed he's going to beat it anyway, like he did in the first inning.
The 1-1 to Jason Rogers. That's in there. Only run of the game coming in the bottom of the first. And another quick throw to keep Gomez in check. Rogers over the weekend. A big moment, a home run against Phil Koch of the Cubs. Swing and a miss here as Rogers out on strikes. 2 men out here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, Sale has that crossfire delivery that makes that baseball come in at an angle to the hitter. He likes to work inside. This is a high fastball that Rogers can't get on top of. Throws him that high 3/4 delivery. Gets it up there in the mid-90s, and just like Mike Fiers, the delivery has a lot to say, a lot to do with his success.
A tall, lanky left-hander, Chris Sale, 6'6". Tips the scales at just $180. Well, a bunt single from Gomez in between, a Braun comebacker, and a strikeout from Jason Rogers. Leon Herrera with a fly ball to left in the second inning. Quite the last couple of games for him. Also worth noting in that 8th inning last night, remember Maldonado was able to work a walk, and that set up the 2-run homer from Leon Herrera. And 2 batters later, it was Chris Davis as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, 7 and 8 hitters have come up big in the last couple of games. That Cub game and last night, Maldonado, Herrera. It's been a good combination.
Those are the Brewers and their power numbers. It took a long time to get to double digits in home runs as a team, but over the last 13 games, they've hit more homers than any other team in the big leagues, 22. And Gomez on the move, and again, they're going to try to pick him off, and this time they will. They'll cut him down. And that will end the 4th inning. Sale throwing over the first, and then they're able to complete the putout of Carlos Gomez. 1-0 the Crew. the 5th inning here at Miller Park. 2nd of 3 between these two teams. Let's check out the DraftKings players to watch tonight. We mentioned Chris Davis, Jose Abreu, a lot of home run power there. Chris Bryant with his first home game home run last night for the Cubbies into the bleachers, and Machado with the Orioles. They have the left and center field bleachers open now. Wrigley. There's Alexi Ramirez starting the 5th inning for the White Sox.
Yeah, Wrigley Field just wasn't the same without those bleachers being filled, was it?
It was odd, although I suppose opposing outfielders appreciated that.
Yeah, Brony and Gomez weren't complaining too much.
No.
A bit rowdy out there.
Just a touch. Ramirez has to scoot back. He's at the 100 home run mark in his career.
And not a big guy, but he can generate some power.
15 last year for the White Sox.
Good pitch. 79 miles an hour. Not sure what it was. I think it was a cross between a slider and a curveball. Didn't break all that much.
He has struck out 4 tonight so far, has Mike Fiers. And that is a fair ball down the line. Alexi Ramirez with the turn and on his way to second. And it's a double for the White Sox shortstop. Just tucked inside the line.
Yeah, just barely fair. Mark Ripperger pointing in fair territory right away. Not reviewable when it's in front of the umpire. He slices one just inside that bag, and Ryan Braun not able to get there in time to hold him to a single. First time the White Sox have had their leadoff hitter on.
Their second hit of the game. And here's Tyler Flowers. His last start on Sunday against the Reds had a couple of hits, walked a couple of times. His average just above 200. Last year had a pretty good second half for the Sox at 280 for the year. He had 241. He can have a little pop in his bat as well. 1 homer so far this year. We saw a combined 17 runs and 24 hits last night. For the White Sox, business picked up from the 5th inning on. Good pitching matchup unfolding here through the first 4 at least between Fiers and Chris Sale. 2-0 pitch coming to Tyler Flowers.
For both teams, the offense was well spread out up and down the batting order. Everybody contributing. Giovanni Soto with a big night, and he got pinch hit for late.
He did. Had a 2-run homer in that game. Singled later, and then they brought Adam LaRoche off the bench. Remember, that's a hammer that Ventura has at his disposal as Flowers lifts one left center field, and that is going to bounce off the wall. A run will score to tie the game. RBI double for Tyler Flowers.
And Fiers leaves a breaking ball up in the zone, and Flowers a little bit out in front, but able to hit it hard enough to find that gap out of left center. And not where he wanted to leave that pitch, right there. Up in the zone. It was away, but Flowers able to hook it a little bit off the end of the bat, but able to fall for a double. He trades places with Alexi Ramirez at second.
So the White Sox tie the game here in the 5th. Here's the rookie Micah Johnson. Took a called 3rd strike in the 3rd inning. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. Johnson runs really well. A couple of years ago in the minors in A and AA ball, he stole a total of 84 bases. Got caught quite a bit, 26 times, but he comes up with the reputation as someone who can really run. We'll see how that translates to the major league level.
Yeah, 2 for 2 so far this year. I should say 2 for 4. On base percentage at about a little over 300, so he's not been able to get on base enough to really run much.
24 years old, played his college ball at Indiana University. Playing second here for the White Sox. Tyler Flowers, a run scoring double. He's off the bag at second. Fires with a 1-1. Mike's best outing this year at Wrigley Field on May 2nd. Going along at a good clip. Got out of some trouble in the fourth. Runners at the corners with 2 men out. They got Connor Gillespie to pop out. The White Sox have touched him up here in the 5th. And there's a ground ball, and that's through, and that's a base hit. Flowers rounding third. Here's Braun with the throw, and that's cut off, and the White Sox take the lead.
And better swings for the White Sox second time through, just like last night with Willie Peralta on the mound. Not a whole lot of familiarity with Mike Fiers for this White Sox offense. Early on, Fiers had the advantage, but that is going away. They're starting to see the ball much better. A seeing eye single in the hole.
So a couple of runs here for the White Sox, and here's Chris Sale. He takes a strike. Sale with only now 6 official plate appearances in the big leagues. He has laid down a sacrifice bunt that was 3 years ago. Runners going. Pitch is taken. Throw down to second. Not in time. There's that speed that Micah Johnson has.
I really weren't paying much attention to him, thinking that the White Sox are going to be satisfied with the bunt. Big lead, good jump, and knew that Flowers was not going to offer on the stolen base. Or Chris Sale.
Third steal of the year for Micah Johnson, and 0-2 count to Sale. And his attempt at a bunt is fouled off, and that'll do it for Sale. 1 out here in the 5th. Strikeout number 5 for Fiers. Back to the top of the order, Adam Eaton. And there you see teams get a look at Fiers. And now we begin the 3rd time through with Eaton. He struck out and grounded to second. Eaton with 4 hits last night. The key for him, as you mentioned last evening, is stay healthy. Missed 30 games with injuries a year ago. Played in only 66 2 years ago with the Diamondbacks.
And 4 hits last night, still only hitting .220.
His first 2 RBIs of the year coming last night. Had to miss 3 games recently with an illness. But back in there at that leadoff spot for the White Sox. Speaking of players coming back, Carpenter back in the Cardinals lineup tonight as they continue, or they begin a series in Cleveland. He missed the series over the weekend with extreme fatigue. Back in there tonight for Mike Matheny's team, hitting second. He's been a terrific hitter in that leadoff spot, but hoping they have things squared away with the health of Matt Carpenter.
And mostly that's emotional fatigue, not so much physical fatigue, and sometimes that could be a lot worse.
They talked about with Carpenter, dehydration, accelerated heart rate. They kept him home. Cardinals lead the Indians tonight 8-3. Pirates lead the Phillies 7-2. Game in Cleveland's in the 8th inning. Pirates and Phillies also in the 8th. 2-strike pitch again to Adam Eaton. There's a throw down to second. Maldonado showing off that arm as Micah Johnson was straying a bit far off the bag.
You got to keep him close. Segura's been doing a nice job jockeying behind him, trying to make sure he doesn't get too big of a jump, or he might take off for third base.
Eaton a foul tip, and Maldonado able to hang on. 2 men out.
There's that big curveball from Mike Fiers. Got to minimize the damage here at 2. You got to strand that runner at second. Foul tip held on to. It's a good curveball. Breaks quite a bit.
Sure does. 2 men out for Melky Cabrera. A curve in there for a strike to Cabrera. He's 0 for 2. Bounce back to the mound and grounded to short. White Sox with a couple of runs here in the 5th. Micah Johnson, the runner at second. This Cabrera back in 2012 with the Giants was having a terrific year. Was the MVP. The All-Star game, but then was suspended 50 games. Violation of the MLB drug policy, was left off the roster in the postseason.
Yeah, Giants decided not to bring him back.
Yeah. There's a guy in the mix for the batting title. He's played well for the White Sox in his first year, coming off a good year with the Blue Jays last season. 2-strike pitch. A couple of real thrillers here at Miller Park the last couple of games, really the last week. You go back to the game a week ago last night with the Dodgers. Then on Sunday afternoon, 11 innings to beat the Cubs last night. A 10-7 game. Who knows what's in store tonight? There's a ground ball to Hector Gomez. And that'll do it for the White Sox here in the 5th. But they pick up a couple of runs. And we move to the bottom of the 5th, 2-1 Chicago. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. White Sox with a couple of runs at the top of the fifth grab the lead. As Chris Sale gets set to go back to work, he'll face Elian Herrera. Teasing bunt and takes a strike. Herrera with a fly ball to left, his first at bat in the second inning. And a breaking ball is in there.
And guys always working, trying to get better, coming out early, taking some batting practice in the cage under Miller Park. Walking into the ballpark today, saw Herrera in there taking some hacks.
Hungry player right now, isn't he?
Yep, working on the tee and taking some swings in the cage before batting practice.
He's had a couple real big swings here lately for the Crew. Sale scoots him back. 3 home runs this season. His first was a grand slam against the Reds. And there's a fly ball hit back into left field. Cabrera going back. It's gone. Herrera again. Third home run in as many games.
How do you get this guy out of the lineup? I'm telling you what. He had 1 home run in his career in the big leagues before this year. 4 home runs this year for Herrera. And this one ties it in the 5th. There's a breaking pitch right down the middle of the plate up in the zone, and Herrera knocks it out of here and ties it up.
How about Elian Herrera? Man. There's the hitting coach, Darnell Coles. Yes, sir.
Just like I told you in the batting cage before the game today.
Well, how fun is that to watch?
Well, again, I mean, you got a left-hander, going tomorrow. You got to figure Herrera's got to be in there. He's got a home run as a left-handed hitter and 3 home runs as a right-handed hitter.
Chris Sale strikes out Martin Maldonado.
His grand slam came as a lefty. And don't forget about the assistant hitting coach, John Shelby.
A couple of happy guys right now seeing the continued progress of Elian Herrera. Right there in the picture as well. 3 home runs in the last 3 games. And close games at that. They have been meaningful bombs that Herrera has hit.
You betcha. And after a home run, you always hang out by the hitting coach. How'd that one look?
What'd you think?
How was that swing, coach?
Is that a good cut? See you back in the cage tomorrow. 2-strike pitch. This season, one of the highlights will always be what Hector Gomez did 8 days ago against Kershaw. Homered and tripled. And there's a drive into left center field, and on the run is Cabrera to make the catch.
They've hung up there just a little bit. He got it on the trademark just enough to have it float out there, just long enough for Cabrera to be able to make the catch. He takes a vicious hack up there. He doesn't get cheated.
Sounded better than it traveled. But you're right. Takes good cuts. There's Mike Fiers. Well, the Brewers tie the game in the 5th, courtesy of Elian Herrera. Fiers with a good cut. The old swing hard just in case.
Yeah. A lot of us have used that philosophy.
Oh, look out. Hard into the seats. Everybody's all right. And here's the 2-strike pitch to Mike Fiers, and down he goes, and that'll do it for the Brewers in the 5th. But the Elian Herrera's story continues, and it's been a real good one lately as he takes Chris Sale deep to tie this game. Brewers and White Sox locked up at 2 at Miller Park.
By Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, all tied up here at 2 at Miller Park, top of the 6th. Joined now by Cecilia Gore, the executive director of the Brewers Community Foundation. And Cecilia, it is the final night of the ultimate auction, but how important is the auction to supporting everything that you do with BCF?
The auction is really important. We generate funds to support nonprofits that focus on health, education, recreation, and basic needs. And we're really providing funding for families, children and their families, so it really makes a difference.
We've got some incredible items, 14 Brewers experiences. What are some of your favorites and some that maybe could use a little extra help on the final night of bidding?
Well, it looks like we're doing really good on everything, but somebody may want to paint and do some pottery with Scooter Jeanette. I really like the on-field dining experience at home plate, and I think that that's going for a great deal, but all the auction items are great items and wonderful experiences, and they're for a good cause.
That certainly is a great cause. 5 we want to feature here behind the ball game. The Sweet Night with Brewers alumni, being a reporter for a day with Brewers beat writer Adam McKelvey, the Miller Park rooftop tour, and of course, the pottery with Scooter Jeanette. So Cecilia, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to bid on any of these items, you can go to brewers.com/BCF week. And again, you have until 11:59 tonight.
All right, Cecilia, thank you very much. Fantasy camp, what do you think, Rock?
That's a good deal. It's a $4,500 value, and that's January 31st to February 7th this year.
Javi Garcia lifts one to left field. Chris Davis by the wall makes the catch. 2 men out. I've talked to a few folks who have been to the fantasy camp, and if they've been there once or multiple times, and I'm serious now, I mean, they rave about it.
Yeah, they have a good time.
The time of their life.
And Garcia just missed that one. It sounded like he got it on the end, but that's how strong he is. Now, part of that whole fantasy camp experience is you play a game on the field here at Miller Park. You get introduced before the game. Your name up on the scoreboard, and That's a big deal for a lot of folks.
Oh, absolutely. You get to be like a kid again.
I mean, we cut it off at about 85, something like that. That's a workable number that we like to top out at. About 14 on a team.
Connor Gillespie down 2 strikes. I know Jerry Augustine yesterday was talking about it again. So that's the best week of the year.
You know what? I might be able to convince whoever wins that prize at the fantasy camp to have Jerry work with him.
Hey, there you go.
I mean, there's not a better coach. You know, he can teach anybody baseball, pitching, hitting, you name it. Augie's good. You know what? I'm going to offer him up.
There you go. So thanks in advance.
I'll let him know in the post-game show.
We thank Jerry Augustine. There you go. Attaboy. 2-2 here in Milwaukee. Are tied at 2. Here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Gene Segura going right to work. Bottom of the first inning. This triple that went past a diving Adam Eaton. That thing started the right way for the Crew. Segura was able to come around and score on this Ryan Braun ground ball. First run of the game. Triple got things started, and now Segura will try to get things started in the bottom of the 6th. We are locked up in a good one. Chris Sale and Mike Fiers. And a little chop is foul. 3 hits for the Crew, 4 for the White Sox. Segura back at the top of the order. It's Carlos Gomez hitting cleanup the second straight night. Segura, Davis, and Braun here in the bottom half of the 6th. Sale has had just the one outing where he has gone as deep as the 7th inning, and that was in a no decision with the Royals. His last 2 outings against the Tigers, he went 5 1/3, and prior to that, up at Target Field, went just 3 innings and gave up 9 runs.
Now he's back tonight.
And he's looking like the Chris Sale that the White Sox are used to seeing.
Well, the breaking pitch has been better tonight. He's thrown a few changeups. Although it was the slider that Herrera hit out of the ballpark, he's been able to locate that pitch pretty well. And like he always does, pitching inside effectively.
Here comes the 1-2. Segura at a .266 batting average now. And a strikeout of Gene Segura. That's strikeout number 7 for Chris Sale.
Yeah, the grand opening of the Selig experience at Miller Park is set for Friday, May 29th. And in conjunction with its debut, the Brewers are giving away a Bud Selig bobblehead courtesy of IBS Dynaman on Sunday, May 31st against the Diamondbacks. For tickets, go to Brewers.com. Good likeness of the commissioner.
That is very nice. And his work as the commissioner, and every time you walk into this ballpark, especially on chilly days like tonight, chilly days like today/tonight, but come in here and you know there's baseball and it's nice and comfortable.
A lot of hard work it took, Bud, to get this ballpark built, along with a lot of other folks. Glad they did it and stuck with it.
Absolutely.
Many opportunities to give up, didn't.
Attendance at Miller Park terrific, consistently so through the years. 3-0 pitch to Davis, swinging away. You get the best of all worlds here at Miller Park. All the tailgating space fans enjoy, and then you know there's baseball. 3-1 pitch. That was that hack that last night got Davis to drive one that to give Bernie Brewer a heads up onto the landing pad of the slide. Oh, another example of a Sale that fans in Chicago saw a year ago. Nearly 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, which was the best in the American League. He has 8 punch-outs tonight.
Yeah, he's got it going right now. There it is, the landing zone for Bernie when he makes his slide, and Chris Davis hit one in there last night.
Everybody's involved on Twitter. Yeah, that was a shot.
Yeah.
And Bernie got a souvenir. Here's Ryan Braun. Looking for his first hit, trying to extend that hitting streak, which is currently at 6. 8 for 21 now in that stretch, including tonight. Drove in a run on a ground ball in the first inning. And hit one back to Sale in the 4th. These two teams conclude the series tomorrow night. It'll wrap up the homestand before the Brewers head to New York. The weekend series starting Friday night against the Mets. Be part of a 3-city swing. The Mets, 3 with the Tigers, and then 4 with the Braves before the crew comes back home to take on the Giants on the 25th.
Yeah, Mets 13-3 at home this year at Citi Field. In first place in the East. Of course, the Washington Nationals are catching them. Well, they caught fire.
Well, Bryce Harper specifically, he has been swinging a hot bat, as you figured he would. Sale has struck out Segura and Davis here in the 6th. And Braun trying to hold up. He cannot, though, complete the strikeout. And Sale strikes out the side here in inning number 6. Still 2-2 at Miller Park.
Hotel and Casino. We head to the top of the 7th here at Miller Park, and the hours are counting down until you can bid on the ultimate auction for BCF week. Now, there are 14 Brewers experiences that you can bid on. You have until 11:59 tonight, so let's take a look at the final 4 that we are featuring. There's the Whistling Straits golf package, a home plate dinner package, 2016 spring training experience, and of course, fantasy camp with Rock and so many of the Brewers alumni. And Rock, right now, fantasy camp is the big winner at $4,000. You'll be happy to hear that. But, you know, fans have just until 11:59 tonight. So if you want to sweeten the pot a little bit or grab grub with Brian and Bill, right now that's almost at $2,000 or just over $2,000. So if you want to up the ante a little bit, rope in Matt for a final dinner. We've got just a little bit of time until 11:59 tonight.
Sophia, you in for the dinner?
Of course I'm in for the dinner. I love a good meal.
Price is right.
That's right. It's free. It's for me.
There you go. So Sophia's in.
She's in. So watch the bidding. It's going to go way up now. Alexi Ramirez here in the 7th inning. A good performance here thus far for Mike Fiers. Pitch count in pretty good shape at this stage of the game for him. Actually getting up there at 94, nearing triple digits, but 7th inning he has struck out 7 through the first 6. And this is popped up. Maldonado out number 1.
Hey, that brings us to tonight's Tavern of the Game winner. It's Sammy's Bar and Grill in Elko, Wisconsin. That's just north of Anago. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
This is now the deepest that Fiers has gone in a game this season. 6 1/3. He went 6 full at Wrigley. That was a 100 pitch performance. 12 strikeouts. There's Tyler Flowers. Run scoring double in the 5th from Flowers. And he came around to score on a Micah Johnson single.
All right, I got a little bit of an add-on for the fantasy camp. You know how we used to do the on-field instructionals? We don't do them anymore.
Right, right.
Highest bidder for fantasy camp will partake in an on-field instructional on Brewers postgame show this year.
Good to bring it back.
Bring it back for one day.
Okay. Now that's pretty cool.
As long as there is another bid over and above what the bid is now.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
Right.
Can't stop now.
On a mutually agreed upon date, and Augie's going to be part of it.
Got Augie involved in a lot going on right now.
Yeah. So yeah, and on-field instruction. You'll be on television.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll do an instructional, and that's how we're going to sweeten the pot. That will be the precursor to fantasy camp.
With a great assist, a big assist to Jerry Augustine. It will be helpful here and at the actual fantasy camp. There's another base hit for Tyler Flowers, his 2nd of the night. Trying to think of what all we're going to have BA do to sweeten the pot for Grub with you guys and Sophia. Yeah, BA's got to throw in something, don't you think?
Aren't you in? Aren't you
well,
in?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in. But I was trying to drive up. Again,
I didn't hear you mention your own name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be here. But again, I'm trying to help sweeten the pot. I don't think I sweeten the pot there. But like Sophia said, you know, she's always good for a meal, and I'm the same way. Micah Johnson RBI single in the 5th. Stole a base.
It'd be nice for Brian to maybe communicate with us here somehow on some of this electronic media that's out there to help out.
We chatted Sunday morning. Haven't heard from him since. You know, he's a busy guy. He'll be back on Friday. The Brewers are in New York. White Sox getting some productivity from their 7 and 8 hitters tonight. Flowers 2 hits. Micah Johnson 1 for 2. Tie game as it's starting to get late. Middle game of this series. A little chat at the mound now as he fires 101 pitches. That would be his heaviest workload of the year.
He's only had that one rough inning, the 5th. Other than that, he's been pretty efficient.
Yeah, back-to-back doubles from Ramirez and Flowers, and then Johnson brought him around. Mentioned the 7 strikeouts. He has yet to walk a man. Sale with 9 strikeouts and no walks. Some good pitching going on tonight. Three balls, no strikes. Rookie second baseman Micah Johnson hitting .270.
Let's see if Robin Ventura, if Sale gets up there with a couple of men on, if he's going to go to the bench. Decisions he doesn't have to worry too much about playing in the American League. Sale, here he comes. He's probably going to drop down a bunt.
Yep. 1 out and runners at first and second. So Ventura liking what he's seeing from Sale on the mound and has the confidence that he can move him over. But first we'll have a little chat on the mound at Miller Park, and Craig Counsell is going to come out and make a change. So a good performance from Mike Fiers, and now he'll turn it over to the bullpen here in a tie game in the 7th inning. 6 1/3 from Fiers tonight. 2-2 the score. Pitching change at Miller Park. Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Tie game at 2, but the White Sox have a threat going with runners at first and second with 1 out. So Craig Counsell turns to his bullpen and brings on the left-hander Will Smith.
Yeah, 245 earned run average in game number 17. Smith appeared in last night's game. Yeah, gave up 3 unearned runs in 2/3 of an inning against the White Sox. Has been unscored upon in 13 of his 16 appearances this year.
And he will face Chris Sale here in a bunting situation. There's a big moment in this game right now as Sale lays it down. Herrera, the throw to third. There you go. You get the lead runner.
And Sale got down that line pretty well, because if he didn't, Segura was ready to wind up and throw one to first base.
Tyler Flowers is erased.
They bunted it too hard right at Herrera, and that's about as easy as it gets at third. Segura thinking about the double play.
So you have the speedy Micah Johnson, the runner at second now. Lineup turns over for Adam Eaton. 4 hits last night, hitless so far tonight. Breaking ball in for a strike to Adam Eaton.
Yeah, Eaton got a base hit off of Will last night. Base hit to center field.
Yeah, he had 4 hits and reached on an error, did Eaton. A couple of strikeouts tonight and a ground ball to second. And Mike Fiers goes 6 1/3. 5 hits, walks 1, strikes out 7. Good performance. And now Smith trying to keep this game tied. So 1 about to deliver the 1-1, but wheels back, and knowing that Johnson runs well, trying to keep him in check. Here's the 1-1. Pours a fastball in there.
Yeah, with 2 outs, not as critical to keep Johnson close at second. You don't want to be moving around in that infield and open any unnecessary holes, giving Eaton a chance to drive in a run.
The 1-2 to left field. Davis has it tracked. Good work by Will Smith. On in relief of Fiers. He gets the job done, and we stay tied. Stay tied at 2. Will Smith turning in good work in relief of Mike Fiers. Carsoup.com trivia question: who are the only current managers in the big leagues to be drafted and play for the clubs they now manage? Robin Ventura, of course, and Ryne Sandberg.
Drafted is the key component to that question.
Yeah, absolutely. You think Cubs when you think Ryne Sandberg. There's Ventura, a 16-year career in the big leagues for him. Half a dozen Gold Gloves, a couple of All-Star games. The winning record his first year as the manager of the White Sox, and struggled mightily with 73 wins last year. That was a bump of 10 from 2013. Here's Carlos Gomez against Chris Sale. And Ramirez with a throw that's wide of the bag, but Abreu applies the tag. Out number 1.
Certainly not known for his tremendous defense over at first base, Abreu, but with no designated hitter, Robin Ventura elects to keep him in the lineup. You can see him getting right on the back, right on the belt before he tags first base. Kind of pulls up a little bit. Had he been able to slide head first, of course, you don't know how the throw is going to work out, but a good play by Abreu.
So out number 1 in the 7th, and here's Jason Rogers. Brewers with just 3 hits. White Sox with 5. White Sox have stranded 5 runners, including a pair in the top half of the 7th. You see Jason's night so far. He gets the starting call at first. The Brewers with a lineup of right-handers against the left-hander Chris Sale. And we are seeing the all-star version of Chris Sale tonight, not the pitcher who got knocked around, and badly so, in his last 2 outings against the Tigers and the Twins.
Now you go back to that trivia question. Assuming Craig Counsell was one of the answers, but he certainly played for the Brewers, but he got drafted by the Rockies back in '92.
Fly ball to right. Avi Garcia near the track. 2 men out. Yeah, kind of a tricky question there. Easy to pull the trigger and be wrong. A couple of answers. Here's Elian Herrera to the plate. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Herrera with 4, including 3 in the last 3 games, which includes his last at bat, a homer to left in the 5th. Ryan Braun and Adam Lind at the top of the chart. His 3 homers have either tied the game or given his team the lead.
Well, the grand slam got him back into the ball game against the Reds.
It did. That was a slugfest game that, like, the Reds would win in a blowout, and that slam made it a 2-run game. This is hit in the air, shallow right, and it'll be grabbed, and that will end the inning. As the Brewers retired in order through 7, we are tied at 2.
Right around the corner, and there's no better place to be for a group outing than Miller Park. Plan a custom tailgate, reserve a seating block, or even rent out in an all-inclusive area or party suite. To start planning your Brewers group outing for as little as $9 a ticket, visit brewers.com/groups.
Crowd on hand tonight, watching some good pitching, and now Michael Blazek, who has been terrific, is on for the crew.
And a nice surprise out of that bullpen. Look at the ERA. Just a little bit over 1 in his 14th appearance. And a 3-0 record. Looking to go 4-0 tonight. Has not allowed a home run, averaging almost a strikeout per innings pitched. Throwing hard, good movement with a pretty good breaking ball.
Well, I know in Brewers Live pregame, this of course being Twitter Tuesday, you were asked about the biggest surprise of this team, and Certainly the work of Elian Herrera has gotten a lot of people's attention, but you went with Blazek, just the way he has come on here in this first 5 weeks. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it just came from nowhere. Nobody talking about him in the offseason, kind of flying under the radar screen in spring training, made the club as a long reliever, and now Craig Counsell putting him in a tie game in the 8th inning.
And he starts Melky Cabrera with a curve for strike one. Little tapper. And charging Hector Gomez. Oh, nice bare hand pick, and he throws him out.
Boy, the toughest part of that play is making the throw. Off balance. Sidearm and threw a strike over to Jason Rogers. Boy, the more you like to see this kid in the infield, the more you like him. Bare hands it. Look at the throw right on the money. He's got to put something on it. And gets him by a step. That's a beautiful play by Hector Gomez. Keeping that leadoff hitter off base.
They like it in the dugout. Boy, does he have an arm. Jose Abreu.
Yeah, the athleticism. I mean, picking that with a bare hand. It was do or die. He had no choice. He puts it in the glove. It's going to be late.
He makes the nice play for out number one here in the top of the 8th.
Play second, short. Throw him over third base. I'd imagine he could probably patrol the outfield too if you need him.
Be a heck of an arm out there.
He's got enough arm for it. Yep.
He was in the lineup at short last night. He moved over to second late.
He and Herrera played a big part in this resurgence for the Brewers. He really have.
Yeah, they have. I always say if there are injuries or whatever the situation may be, it's somebody else's opportunity. Old line, but it applies.
True. Got to be ready when your number's called.
And both of those players have had some big moments. And very recently. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jose Abreu. Well, Mike Fiers started. Will Smith turning in good work, retiring a couple of White Sox hitters. Chris Sale having a very good performance for Chicago. 3-2 pitch. And Abreu works Blazek for a walk.
It's been the only bugaboo for Michael Blazek. That's the 8th walk he's issued so far this year. 8 walks to go along with 16 strikeouts.
And with 1 out, 1 on, Blazek will face Javi Garcia. Infield hit in the 4th inning. Struck out in the 2nd. Hit a fly ball to left in the 6th. Attacking the first pitch. This is a White Sox team that's been swinging a pretty good bat here in the last week or so, and especially the last 3 games, but they have but 5 hits tonight.
Garcia nearly knocked one out of the ballpark his last time up. Took Chris Davis all the way to the wall.
The 0-1. Sharply hit and into left field. And the White Sox have him at first and second. So another threat here for Chicago.
Yeah, left a breaking ball up in the zone. There it is, right down the middle, up around the belt, and Garcia hits it hard out of the reach of Herrera and into left. So go ahead and run at second base. Not great speed out there, but at second base nonetheless.
Brewers turned back a White Sox threat in the 7th inning. They have runners at first and second with 1 out. In the same situation now. Connor Gillespie set Gomez to the track in the 2nd inning. Popped to third in the fourth and struck out in the sixth. Gillespie hitting .247. 282 a year ago. Michael Blazek, so impressive. His first 5 weeks plus of the season, trying to keep that trend going. The White Sox mounting a threat. Brewer bullpen starting to stir a little bit again. As you take a look at the runners, Abreu is at second. Garcia at first as Neil Kotz now gets loose.
You get down toward the bottom of the order, you might have Adam LaRoche grab a bat, so you got to be ready.
2-0 pitch. And that bounces up there, gets by Maldonado, and runners are at second and third.
Well, let's see what Counsell elects to do. You're down in the count here 3-0. You might just put him on and set up the double play.
Alexi Ramirez is on deck. See how Counsell plays it.
Got to put him on here. Don't mess around.
And that's exactly what they are going to do. So with one out, the Brewers will go ahead and walk Gillespie, and the bases are loaded for Alexi Ramirez. When he doubled in the fifth inning, that extended his hitting streak to 7 games. Now Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, meeting on the mound.
There's never really any indecision when Kranitz goes out there. I mean, he knows what he wants to say. He relays the message that either he has or Craig Counsell has, and he's usually the one doing all the talking.
And that's the case right now as he gets the word across.
And normally it's a pep talk. You know, go right after him, use your good stuff, get that sinker, and get a ground ball, get out of this mess. Last thing you want to do in this situation is fall behind again.
And you see Ramirez does have the ability to play long ball, and he has done so half a dozen times with the bases loaded. And we'll see if Blazek can get him to hit into a ground ball double play here. And a breaking ball, close shave.
Yeah, you don't want to fall behind. That's what we're talking about. You don't want to fall behind in the count again and put these White Sox hitters in an aggressive mode with a fastball. But that's what happened here. Missing badly with the breaking ball.
So Blazek up against it. A tie game, but the White Sox have the bases full. Here's the 1-0. Struggling to find the strike zone. And now Alexi Ramirez in the driver's seat.
And Blazek's forced to throw a fastball. Got no choice.
Well, a tight game last night. Brewers getting used to this. A tight one on Sunday afternoon. Here's the 2-0. And there's a shot to center field. Gomez the catch. Abreu tags. He will score as moving to third is Garcia, and the White Sox take the lead.
Yeah, put himself in a fastball count, and Alexi Ramirez knew it. Not about to take that one. It was right down the middle of the plate. Brewers fortunate that Ramirez hit that one right at Gomez out in center. Center cut. He hits it right at Gomez in center. Brewers fortunate in that regard, but a run does score.
So a 3-2 game as the White Sox grab the lead. And now Tyler Flowers has a couple of hits tonight, including an RBI double. Runners at the corners. Garcia at third, Connor Gillespie the runner at first. Ground ball to Herrera. And the inning is over. The White Sox pick up a run and they grab the lead. Brewers back into comeback mode. Down a run.
Here in the 8th inning, bottom half we go. Sox up 3-2 over the Brewers right now. We're getting set for Brewers Live postgame on the way. Elian Herrera, another talking point. 3 straight games now with home runs. Not bad for a guy who had one previous Major League home run before the year began.
You know, it's about getting those bench guys and the team players that can come in and do a job for you. Elian Herrera, been a bench guy this year, coming off, not even on the roster, start the season, comes up, does a great job for the Brewers. 3 consecutive home runs and 3 consecutive days.
All right, now it's got to be a rally time one more time for the Brew Crew here tonight. Again, the post-game show, Brewers Live, on the way, Matt.
All right, Craig, Augie, thanks much. You saw Gordon Beckham checking in. He will now play third for the White Sox. As Chris Sale still out there for Robin Ventura's team, facing Martin Maldonado, who has struck out in both of his plate appearances tonight. Sale with his deepest outing of the year. Had a couple of complete games last season.
98 pitches. It could very well be his last inning. Nobody getting loose in that White Sox bullpen.
And their closer is David Robertson, the former Yankee.
Still throwing hard, isn't he?
Yep, 95 right there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hasn't lost a bit.
He has been on his game tonight. Brewers with a run in the first, and then the Elian Herrera homer in the 5th. And that is strike 3 called. Maldonado doesn't think so. Double-digit strikeouts now for Sale.
Yeah, right at the top of the strike zone right here. It was right down the middle, but it looked like a strike to me. Fox Tracks had it in the strike zone.
Well, exactly 100 pitches from Chris Sale. He'll face Hector Gomez. There's a fly ball to right field. Garcia near the line. 2 men out.
And the Brewers going to go with Gerardo Parra. The only right-hander on the bench is Aramis Ramirez, who apparently is not available. Nothing but left-handers, which is another reason why Sale stays out there.
Gerardo Parra has shined as a pinch hitter. Stretch of 4 straight hits in that role. Four for 8 overall. He's been good against left-handed pitching when the opportunity has presented itself. 4 for 11. We'll see what he's done. 11 at-bats, not a big sample size, but he has come through.
And most of those hits have come recently.
The pinch hitting role has agreed with him. Trying to continue that trend here. 2 balls, no strikes. White Sox with a run in the 8th inning. That is the difference right now. Three and 1 the count. Now runs full. Parra's having a good homestand. 7 for 20, including a home run. His first of the year. Here's the payoff. Breaking ball miss. Parra worked him for a walk.
That's a nice at bat right there. That slider didn't miss by much. I find it very amazing that there's nobody getting loose in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Nothing but right-handers coming up. Chris Sale's got 107 pitches and nobody warming up. And this one just misses the outside corner. Still nobody getting loose.
Oh, it's very interesting as Ventura putting full trust into Chris Sale. Here's at the plate presented by Wendy's what Gene Segura has done. He got things started for the Crew with that first inning triple. Scored on a ground ball from Ryan Braun. Everyone's attention in the Brewers dugout. So Gerardo Parra worked Sale for a walk. He's the runner at first with 2 men out. Brewers still with just 3 hits so far in this game off of Sale.
96. Yeah, we said at the same time. I mean, that's the hardest he's thrown all night.
No balls, 2 strikes. Gene Segura trying to keep this inning going. Two-strike pitch. Got him. Chris Sale has been impressive tonight. It's on the change, and we are through 8 with the White Sox leading the Brewers 3-2. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. 3-2 White Sox lead. The Brewers move to the top of the ninth. Boy, Chris Sale awfully impressive for the White Sox. 11 strikeouts. He's held the crew to just 3 hits. Here's a look at some of his work.
Yeah, he only walked 1. That was Gerardo Parra last inning, but I tell you, equally as impressive as what Chris Sale did is what Robin Ventura did not do. I mean, you're talking about a guy with over 100 pitches, 8th inning, this day and age, did not have a reliever getting loose with all those right-handers coming up. Talk about complete confidence in your lefty, and Chris Sale threw 2 of his hardest fastballs, biggest velocity fastballs in that 8th inning, 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, a little turn back the clock philosophy from Robin Ventura. Neil Kotz, the former White Sox hurler, now on the mound for the Crew.
Yeah, Les pitched on Saturday in the Brewers' victory over the Cubs. A 3-up, 3-down ninth.
Face Micah Johnson.
And numbers for Kotz. He's given up the 4 home runs. That pretty much covers is why he's got that earned run average over 5. 13 strikeouts in 12 1/3.
And Ventura out. Chat with Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire. He's sure exactly if he's claiming interference. I'm not sure what the issue is, but there will be a little conference here with the umpire crew. White Sox pushed across a run in the 8th inning. Right now, that is the difference in the game.
Well, not exactly sure what they're talking about. Are they talking about, Johnson hitting the mid of Maldonado?
If that's the case, they're going to give catcher's interference, I believe. Martin Maldonado. Craig Counsell's going to want an explanation.
You can see how far back Maldonado is, and I'm not even close.
No.
I mean, I'm not. If that's what they called, I mean, that's a terrible call.
Ooh. Craig Counsell getting some, I was going to say clarification, but
I mean, not even close.
No.
I mean, if that's what they're calling, how can the umpires on the bases see that? I mean, that's
wow.
Yeah, talk about trying to convince an umpire of something. I mean, Maldonado never even came close to the bat.
That's a rookie too. He's not supposed to have that kind of clout.
Man, surprised Maldonado didn't get more upset.
Yeah.
I mean, catchers know.
Yeah. Oh, confusing moment. Here's Emilio Bonifacio, who will be pinch hitting for Chris Sale.
That'll be an error on Martin Maldonado.
Yep. Bonifacio lays one down. Kotz needs to hustle and scoops it past Jason Rogers. Micah Johnson on his way to third, and he is safe at third, and Herrera wants to contest.
Oh boy, how about this inning? Haven't had a ball out of the infield. And yeah, I can't see where the hands of Micah Johnson are, but it looks like Herrera got him. They're going to do a review here. I mean, this is looks out to me.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, it doesn't even look close. Said he tagged him high, which he did, but he still got him before Johnson was at the bag. I mean, clearly not even close to third base. So. Well, you get a catcher's interference where there was no interference, and then you get a safe call at third on a clear out call. I don't think it's going to take too long.
Yeah, this one's going to get corrected.
Again, interference is not reviewable.
Right.
And on the field, and it stands it is. And it's called interference on Maldonado, which is not reviewable. This one should be reviewed and will be reversed.
Well, Crowd seeing the replay. And the folks in New York have had a long enough look. Out at third.
And how about the throwing arm of Hector Gomez out there in foul territory?
Again.
Just a frozen rope by Gomez right on the money to get the out at third base. How big is that play?
Yeah, we have seen that arm on display a couple of times tonight.
So it's going to be an error on Kotz. So 2 errors in the inning. Hector Gomez gets the out at third base with another terrific throw.
So 1 out. Bonifacio the runner at first, and Adam Eaton the hitter.
Actually, they're going to give a base hit on the bunt.
Right. That's hit number 7 for the White Sox. So an odd inning so far, but through it, 1 out and runner on at first. Neil Cott's a member of that White Sox World Series championship team 10 years ago. Appeared in each of the 4 games and actually earned a victory in game 2.
I still can't get over that catcher's interference.
Yeah,
call,
that
though.
is really confusing.
I mean, on the replay, that wasn't even close. Oh well.
Let's see if the Brewers can overcome that and get through this inning still down a run.
Brewers have been pretty successful on their reviews this year.
Yeah, that is 7 out of 8 that the Brewers have challenged successfully. Craig Counsell getting that one corrected as Herrera applied the tag. He has been involved in a lot of close games in his first 8 days as manager, and another tight one here. Neil Kotz with the 2-0. And there's a base hit to left. And runners at first and second with 1 out. First hit of the night for Adam Eaton.
Yeah, Kotz leaving that one up in the strike zone, and Adam Eaton stays right on it and drives it into left. Well, the reverse call saved the Brewers a run for the time being.
It has. Now that meaty part of the order, Melky Cabrera. He is 0 for 4 tonight. Good spot for a double play ground ball if they can get it. Well, he gets a pop up instead. They'll take that. As Herrera takes charge, 2 outs. So Jose Abreu, the work still not done for Neil Kotz. And Craig Counsell, like he will turn to the bullpen. Wants to go right-hander versus right-handed hitter. So Kotz will exit. A couple of runners on, and he'll turn it over to Brandon Kinsler. A 3-2 game. White Sox leading in the 9th. And we'll pick it up with Brandon Kinsler as we continue from Miller Park. out here in the top half of the ninth inning. Well, let's check out what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Interesting pitching matchup tomorrow. Jose Quintana against Jimmy Nelson. The ERAs are one thing, but you have some contrasting styles there.
Yeah.
They're both on. Really tough to reach. We'll get our coverage started tomorrow at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Power sinker against the changeup specialist. We'll see how it works out tomorrow. In the meantime, the Brewers are down by 1. And Brandon Kinsler on his first appearance this year. Gave up 2 runs, one of them earned. He gave up a home run to Starlin Castro in an inning of work against the Cubs.
In a big spot here as he faces Jose Abreu. He's 0 for 3. He has walked. Reached on an error back in the 4th inning. Bonifacio, the runner, at second. Adam Eaton at first. And a strike to Abreu.
Kinsler's velocity has been down since a couple of years ago when he was throwing in the mid-90s. That last fastball at 91. Yeah, big shift on for Abreu.
Kinsler called up last week from Colorado Springs. Big situation here. Brewers will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the 0-1. And that is right against the shift. Goes opposite the shift. A base hit for Abreu. A run will score, and a big run for the White Sox. They lead by 2. Abreu works away from the shift. Goes opposite field for an RBI single.
Almost as if he was trying to find that hole. It's a huge hole between first and second. A lot of room there. You had Gomez on the shortstop side of the bag, and look at all the room over there, and that's exactly where he tried to put it. He was able to get it on the ground and run in. And a big one at that.
That extends Abreu's hitting streak to 9 games. And you see his ability. He can spray the ball around.
Yeah, but still the Brewers put the big shift on. I would imagine most of those hits to right have been line drives and fly balls. Probably does not hit too many grounders in that direction.
Runners at the corners for Avi Garcia. And the White Sox get a little insurance in the 9th inning. The Brewers will have some power bats coming up in the bottom half of the 9th. Bouncing ball, Herrera, a long throw. It's there, and that'll do it for the White Sox. They pick up a run, but the Brewers will send Chris Davis along with Braun and Gomez to the plate, down by 2. Last chance for the Brewers, 4-2 White Sox as we move to the bottom of the ninth inning. A happy birthday, Keith Wood. How about a lot of the people on this crew who actually work? There's one of them, 62 years young. Happy birthday, Woody.
Get hazard pay down there by that dugout. Not just flying baseballs, but the antics of the players in there.
Yes.
Good job, Woody.
Happy birthday. Emilio Bonifacio stays in the game for the White Sox. He'll handle things at second, and now their closer, David Robertson, the former Yankee, on the mound for the Sox.
Yeah, suffered his first blown save on Sunday. He's 5 for 6. Had 39 saves with the Yankees last year.
We will face Chris Davis to lead things off. Brewers need 2 to tie. Robertson had the task of following Mariano Rivera and performed well.
And he's got a cut fastball, not quite as good as Rivera, but still pretty good. He throws a lot of them.
Well, the Brewers, since they've been playing better here in the last nearly 2 weeks, winners of 8 of their last 12. A lot of 8th inning magic has been involved. Whereas on Sunday it took 11 innings, but see if they can rattle things around here in the 9th. A ball, a strike. Davis versus Robertson.
They got the right guys coming up. Part of the order.
Davis, Braun, Gomez, and Jason Rogers if they can get there. A ball, 2 strikes to Chris Davis. It's hanging in there. Well, the White Sox broke the tie in the 8th and added 1 more in the 9th. Trying to even up this series. We're back here tomorrow night. The final game of the homestand. The 1-2. Got him swinging.
That curveball. He'll throw that once in a while. That's when you're starting to zero in on that cut fastball. He'll drop that curve on you. Gets it down in the dirt with 2 strikes.
One out here in the 9th for Ryan Braun. Ground ball to first in the first inning scored Gene Segura, who led off that first inning with a triple. Only other run coming in the 5th on an Elian Herrera homer. Mike Fiers turning in good work today. Chris Sale, 8 innings, gives up just 3 hits. Walks 1, strikes out 11. There's the 0-1. Again, this is where he turns to that curveball. Up 2 strikes and nothing. The 0-2. Slap foul.
Yeah, he threw it. Doubled up on the curveball.
See, Ryan Braun has had a flair for inflicting damage late in games. No balls, 2 strikes. Got him swinging. He has faced 2. He has struck out 2. Brewers down to their last out.
They have 13 strikeouts by Brewers hitters tonight. And that one up in the zone.
Robertson a year ago appeared in 63 games, 70 the year before for the Yankees at a 2.04 ERA in 2013. He struck out Davis and Braun, and here's Carlos Gomez. One for three night for Gomez. Bunted his way on in the fourth inning.
Doesn't throw all that hard, but you know that little movement as it gets to the hitting zone is what throws hitters off. That's what that cut fastball is all about. You can't pick up the rotation, and you can't see the movement until it's too late.
He was an all-star 4 years ago for the Yankees, and he gets another one past Gomez. David Robertson, as impressive as Chris Sale was. A ball, 2 strikes to Gomez. And a fly ball hit back into center field. Adam Eaton at the track makes the catch, and the White Sox win it 4-2, and they even this series. Single runs in innings 8 and 9. It makes a winner of Chris Sale.